Okay, let's get ready for a long one. We've opened up our Mario hand start in R. There we go. And if we take a look, I've already set you up with image planes that are going to go around. There we go. Uh, there we go. Image planes from the top and the front view. Good, and we're going to create a polygon cube. And we're just going to scale this up in the top view and the front view. Move that back, get that around basically from the wrist to right where the fingers start to become attached. There we go. Move around some vertices. And then we're going to switch ourselves here. Looks pretty good. And insert an edge loop around the middle of the hand. There we go. And one that's wrapping around the entire side of the hand. And that gives us a little bit more to work with. So we're lining up our edge loops. Again, if you get lost, just go ahead and look for the edge loops on, there we go, the edge loops on our reference drawing. So we're inserting more edge loops. We're going to pull this one up. Our palm's actually a little bit curved when we look at it. It curves up into the underside of the palm. And always moving our vertices. When you drop an edge loop in, make sure to go ahead and just move those vertices so you don't forget about them. They get a little bit lonely. There we go. There we go. And we're just moving around our edge loops, hooking them up. Good. Okay. We're not moving out to the thumb yet. And in our front view, we can see we're getting a little too high. There we go. So we're just going to start grabbing some vertices. And that's our thumb area there. So we need to pull those vert down. Okay, and there we go. Just jumped ahead a little bit. About 5 minutes moving, and you can round out the form and get a nice little circular area where we're going to extrude the thumb out of. There we go. So our interactive, our insert edge loop tool, we're going to add some more edges. Just match them exactly up to how they are on the concept drawing. And we're going to move those down. Now we have enough points that we can start matching exactly what's going on. And move those around, move those down in, and we'll notice that we have some triangles going on here. So what we're going to end up doing is we're actually going to end up merging those vertices to get that triangle. We want to end up with 10 edges around the base of our hand where it's going to attach to the arm, because remember we use a 10-sided cylinder. It's our trusty merge vertex tool, and we're just going to start merging those. There we go. We want 2 little triangles on the back side of our wrist there. And so we just merge those in. There we go. They're matching up pretty well with our little reference drawing there. Okay. And we've gone ahead and moved those around. Just pulled up a little bit on the thumb area. Gives it that medial thumb pad. Okay. And there are a couple on the bottom that we just want to go ahead and merge. We don't really need all that geometry on the bottom of the hand. Hands are usually, hid by weapons or not really facing the camera. So we want to select on the thumb area those 4 polygons, and we want to go extrude. And, oops, I got a snap going on there. There we go. All right, so we're pulling it out. And we want to go ahead and scale that so it's pretty relatively even. Scale it in, push it out, rotate it a little bit, trying to match as much of the concept drawing as possible. Pull it down a little bit in that front view. As we can see, we're matching up the grid flow pretty exactly. Then we grab those polygons again, extrude them one more time, And rotate. We don't want to cross over our lines. Remember, that's going to be a problem when we start rigging. So don't cross over the lines. Extrude once more. Scale it down. We're getting the basic form of our thumb. And then we're going to extrude once more. There we go. All the way out to the end. Oops. Okay. And we're rotating it out. Getting exact as possible. Just pull it out to the end of that thumb. Grab some more vertices. Gonna move it out. Grab some more vertices. There we go. And my cursor's going wild here. So, there we go. Alright, so it's kind of matching up. It's a little clunky. So we'll end up moving some stuff around. Good. And we've got the back area of the palm here. Oops, gonna go ahead and save. Maya's being a little bit weird with me. So, there we go. Alright, so I'm selecting all of there we go, those 6 faces on the back side of the hand. And we're just going to go ahead and extrude them once and give us an area where we can attach the wrist to. Okay, scale them in, make sure they're as flat as possible so it's easy to connect to the arm. Push them out to the side, rotate them a little bit, match them up with the drawing there. Okay. And there we go. So we're going to go ahead and start on the fingers. Want to do a polygon primitive cylinder. And let's see here. Rotate it 90 degrees in Y. We're going to make it 8 subdivisions. I'm going to go down to a 0.5 so it's easier just to find on the screen. And we're going to start with the pointer finger. Just because that's easier to see in our front reference view. So we're going to scale that up, grab some of those verts. We're going to move all those verts out to the very end. Go ahead and squash those down a little bit. There we go. We're not going directly out to the palm yet. Remember, for the armpit we had to append the poly. Same basic system's going to happen here. So let's go ahead and just noodle around those vertices until they're in place. We're going to rotate, scale that down. There we go. Oops, and insert edge loop tool. We're going to insert for the knuckles. So we're going to get one insert there and scale that up a little bit. Hands are very finicky. Everyone can look at a hand and tell if something's not right. So you want to make sure you get those knuckle delineations going. You want to make sure that you have enough geometry on either side to support it bending, so it doesn't just all crash in on itself. We're gonna have enough problems with the basic rigging that we're doing, getting smooth hands going. So again, nothing but you just have to take your time, rotating, moving, getting it matched up there. There we go. Alright, move a couple of vertices to just round out the forms. And now the tip of the finger. There we go. Let's see. Sorry, notice that. I'm just going to go to the top view and move those knuckles out. Finger's a little bit wider than it is tall. If you look at your own finger, it's wider than it is tall. So we've got to make some little bit of adjustments. And here, of course, we see concept art doesn't always match up in all of your orthographic views, so you just have to do your best. Okay, for the knuckles, we're pushing in a little bit. That gives it just a little bit more natural kind of indentation for the folds of your finger. If you look at the finger, we get that indentation, and then the knuckle comes up a little bit. Now, this front face, that's going to be a problem for us. So we can go ahead and split it from the side and then from top to bottom, and we've got four-sided polygons. And we can grab that middle. There we go. Pull that straight out. And now it's about as round as it's going to be. Switch ourselves to smooth those normals out. Soften those normals. And for a low poly hand, it's looking pretty good. So that was me holding D on the keyboard and moving the pivot point. If you hold D and V, you'll snap that pivot point all the way back. There we go. We're just going to duplicate, start rotating, and start scaling. We don't need to do this from scratch for each finger. They're pretty much all identical. So again, grabbing the pointer finger, going to do that ring finger here. Scale it down a little bit. There we go. And then for the pinky, pinky's pretty small, so let's scale that down a bunch. Perfect. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move the fingers up. There we go. So your fingers are attached to your hand in kind of an arc. Just gets a little bit more natural form. And if you'll notice in the front view, the concept art does that as well. So I want to grab all of the objects, we're going to combine them. There we go. Delete those inside faces of those fingers. Just kind of nuke them. For the inside of the palm, of the hand, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab those inside faces, we're going to nuke them, hit the delete key. And from here, there we go. Delete that inside, so we've got just kind of this hollow shell of a hand going on. There we go. Okay, now to attach the fingers to the palm, we're going to be using the Append to Poly tool. So let's start with the pinky. That's probably the easiest way to see that. Okay, we're going to attach the side of the pinky there. There we go. And the side again. So 3 on the side, 4, just making sure the edge flow is moving down. Then we switch to the pointer and we do the opposite edges there. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Oops. Alright, and then that top face. Now from here, we have to do some adjustments. So we're going to grab those remaining 3 edges on top, 3 edges on the bottom, and we're going to extrude them out just a little bit. And we want to make sure that our keep faces together option is turned off. And we're kind of, there we go. We're just making the knuckle area right now. There we go. Good. And turn our keep faces back on and switch back to our Append to Poly tool. So from our knuckles, we are just appending the webs of our finger. If you look at your finger, you got these little sections of flesh in between each finger. And that's what we're creating. So then we're just going to append and start filling in some of these holes. So let's see here. Yeah, so the bottom is we want to get the bottom 2 face rows on that middle finger attached to the palm. Same thing for the ring finger. And there we go. On the pinky, the tops, same situation. So we're filling those in. Okay, keep going, keep filling those in. Perfect. All right, so we're going to insert an edge loop tool, and we're going to cut the middle of each of those webs. That gives us two edges that we can append to. So now you can see where this is going. We are just going to take those last remaining polygons and we're going to fill them up. So just filling them in, always just rotating around. Sometimes it's a little hard to see where you're going there. Filling it in. There we go. Perfect. Good. And almost done. Last one. There we go. Alright, from here it's just pulling and pushing some vertices around to round out a couple of hard edges on those knuckles. We don't want it looking too tough, so we're just going to take those edges, kind of squeeze them together a little bit, push them back into the hand. There we go. Alright, squeeze them together, push them back in. And these guys, probably bring them together a little bit more, just so it's not going to look so clunky. Okay, grab the top three there. We're going to pull those pretty far back into the hand. Okay, same thing for the bottom. And might just look a little bit better. There we go. And the top portion of each of those knuckles, I'm going to pull up a little bit. Get kind of that bony landmark going on. And pull up, round out. I'm just rounding out a couple of forms there. There we go. Let's go ahead and soften those normals. Looks pretty good. Okay, from here we're going to save the scene, and then we're going to go ahead and export that selection. We select the hand, and we're going to save that into our data folder in the Mario 2014 file. Do it as an FBX. It can be an OBJ, but you lose some of your smoothing. Then we're going to open up our torso guy, the half guy that we have so far. So there he is. Perfect. Import, and we're going to go to our data folder, and we're going to pick up that FBX that we just made. There we go, giant hand. So we need to go ahead and move that into position. And I guess if you want him to have Hulk hands, you can. I'm going to scale that down and get a little bit more realistic size. There we go. Just get it so it matches the edge of that arm there. There we go. And the front view, you can rotate the hand, and it should pretty well match up to... There we go. Might do a little bit of scaling there for the reference. And it's okay if it's not perfectly on those edge flows. We did a lot of rounding in the hand file. So there we go. All right. Looks pretty good. Let's select both those models. Go up to Mesh Combine, and let's go ahead and merge those vertices. So I'm pulling the edge back so I can have a little bit of a gap, just so when I use the Merge Vertex tool, I know which vertices I'm merging to avoid stuff like that. Alright, so there we go. And merge those. Just merge them around the side. Okay, do it in a clockwise order. And there you go. You will have to round out the transition from the palm to your arm. Although the pinky side, that's a huge bone spur. We're going to push those in a little bit. But you do have a little chunky piece of bone on your pinky side that comes out. Not quite that far, but there you go. Alright, and he's got a muscle that comes down to his thumb. It's not quite that pronounced. We'll just keep pushing in, pulling those vertices. There we go. Alright, he is set to save. We're going to soften those edges. Just take a look here. course, that ruined the hardened edges that we did on our boots. Yeah. Okay. And if we notice, we're a little bit off the center line. So if you hold X in your vertex mode, you can snap your vertices to the center. Okay, we can go to mirror geometry across the negative X. Always have the merge vertices on. And apply on that. And there we go. You've got yourself a human body so far. So the middle line always comes in with a hard normal, so you just have to select it, go to normals, and soften it. That way it doesn't look like he has a big cut going all the way around his body. But there you go. We've gone ahead and gotten pretty much an entire body set, so we're ready for the head.